Hi everyone, I'm Delicia. Thanks for stopping by the Cigar Vixen channel. Today I'm going to be lighting up a very special cigar. This is the Fuente Opus X Destino al Siglo in a Lancero. Lanceros are my absolute favorite vitola. Those of you who watch my stuff already know this. I always talk about how, in my personal opinion, Lanceros are the best way to experience a cigar. And so this one was actually brought back from PCB Cigars in Panama City Beach, Florida. I do have another video on that one. Incredible humidor at that location. And if you're a Fuente fan, Peter Shaw, who's the owner, has every single Fuente possible. So it's a wonderful place to visit if it's in your neck of the woods or if you're just passing through, again, Panama City Beach Cigars out in Florida. Anywho, this cigar, I brought back a few of them, and this one, they've actually been in my humidor for quite a while, so there's a little bit of plume that's on this, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful cigar and very special. I'd actually like to take this moment to pay homage and tribute to a very special man, Don Carlos Fuente Sr., who recently passed. My condolences to the family. En paz descanse. An incredible patriarch to that family. I didn't have the pleasure of knowing him very well. I had met him, briefly, but I think that all of us cigar consumers and those of us who just really enjoy the cigar culture and just everything about cigars, I think every time we light up a Fuente now, it's even more special, and it's kind of a moment to pay tribute to a wonderful man. And so again, my condolences. But back to the cigar itself. So this one is a Dominican Puro. It's featuring a beautiful sun-grown wrapper that is grown on their own, farm in the Dominican Republic. And binder and filler is also Dominican. Again, as I mentioned, Dominican Puro. So beautiful cigar, Lancero size, just a wonderful, wonderful display of craftsmanship, flavor, all the way around. It's just an absolute beauty. So let's go ahead and get this lit up. I'm gonna go ahead and use my little Cigar scissors. It does have that nice little pigtail. It's tempting to just kind of twist it and pull it off. You could do that, but I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the very tip off here. Funny story real quick regarding one of my first cigar moments, probably one of the most embarrassing moments that I've ever experienced. The very first time that I went to Big Smoke, I was fairly new to the cigar scene. I had just started my channel, I think July of that year. Big Smoke is usually in November. So I, had a list of people that I really wanted to meet. Top on that list was Carlitos Fuente. And so I waited in the line with a million other people to get the chance to meet him and take a picture, of course. And so, I had a cigar already, walked up. Finally, it was my turn to meet him. And I was so excited, and I asked him, hey, would you mind lighting my cigar so I could take a picture and, just have a little moment. And so he's, very nice and started toasting the foot of my cigar. We're kind of chit-chatting, and he hands me the cigar to put in my mouth so he could light the very end of it. And I put it in my mouth, and he's lighting the end, and I'm going to take a puff, and I realized, oh, I actually forgot to cut the cigar. So it was one of those, moments where you're just like, oh, great. And then especially because there's a huge audience of people watching, it was really funny. But it actually worked out in my favor because, being the gentleman that Carlitos is, we were talking at that moment about, I was telling him how I love Lanceros. And so he goes, well, hold on a second. And he actually reaches into his private stash and gives me an Opus X Lancero. And this time makes the point of saying, hey, let me cut this for you. And, toasted it and lit it. And it was funny. It was just an interesting moment, one that I'll never forget. And it was kind of just a funny thing that I always think of every time I light up a Fuente. So thought I'd share that with you guys so you could make fun of me next time you see me. And I'm going to go ahead and use a nice little cedar spill to light this baby up. Because again, it's the perfect accompaniment to lighting your cigar. A nice piece of cedar. And again, even though it's a softer flame, you still want to make sure that your cigar is just over that flame, not completely resting to where it's touching it. So just over it, nice and toasted. Take your time. especially with a cigar like this one. You definitely want to take your time and make sure that it's lit properly. That little stubborn edge. Right away with the aroma and that first initial puff, you get a nice amount of a beautifully aged cedar. Just absolutely gorgeous, very welcoming. One of those cigars that I like always use that kind of tagline of very welcoming cigar. And this one absolutely fits that criteria. This is the type of cigar that you look for, that you hope you can get your hands on. And when it's been aged and even that additional amount of time, like in your own humidor, it just makes it so smooth and creamy. Again, that beautifully aged cedar flavor is really what is coming out, you know, in the forefront. Get a nice mellow kind of a black pepper. Actually, I take that back, more of a white pepper. It's very, very soft. Through that retrohale, you pick it up mostly there. Still, I get little hints of the cedar, the white pepper. That's about the extent of the flavors at this moment. I do know that this cigar has beautiful complexity and transition, so we'll get into that in a moment. So as always, I'm gonna smoke it down a little bit more and check back in with you for the second third. So getting into the second third, right around the halfway point or so on this beautiful Lancero, the flavors are excellent. It's a nice combination of a very light pepper, and there's been an introduction of kind of a sweet, reminds me of like a red licorice type of a sweetness. And there's also a little bit of a citrus, kind of like an orange peel, a sweet, you know, sun-kissed type of an orange citrusy flavor in there. It's just really, really nice. Very, very creamy, very smooth, and just smoking beautifully. Beautiful aroma, nice ash, excellent construction, just very on point. So again, just enjoying this quite a bit. I'm gonna smoke it down a little bit more, and of course check back in with you for the final third. So the final third really is a nice combination of kind of all of the flavors that I mentioned throughout the review. So you get a nice mix of the aged cedar. You actually get a little bit of an oakiness in here towards the end. You have a good sweetness in there that, again, it reminds me of kind of like a red licorice, like an anise type of a flavor. A little hint of that nice citrus, slightly earthy, but you still get a nice amount of that light white pepper that's pretty much throughout the cigar. But just an excellent example again of that Fuente craftsmanship, the quality, beautiful construction, flawless burn line. The ash is just beautiful. Everything that I can say that's good is in this cigar right here. So it's definitely something that you want to get your hands on. If you've never had one, get out there, find one, smoke it, enjoy it. It's definitely a cigar that you're going to remember. Just a beautiful example of, again, that fine Fuente craftsmanship. So as always, I thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for stopping by. Cheers.